Hello guys, welcome back to A3A3 Reacts. I'm your host Angelo. Many of you may remember that about a year ago, my video about the city of Annandale, Virginia went viral. Well, what some of you may not necessarily know is that I had other videos about Annandale, and one of those happened to be a walking tour of my home in Annandale, Virginia. You can check the description below for all these videos. I had many scenes in my house of things that didn't work, appliances that were broken, electrical problems, things in the house that just didn't make sense, one ugly motherfucking couch there, and bad behavior from my landlord. What this video is about is the aftermath of all that. What happened after my landlord found out about that video, saw it, and tried to talk to me about it. Why did I make a video the next day asking for a couch to sleep on for a while? And yes, this video is about a year late. Look, I was lazy, so shame on me. I know it's kind of an afterthought now, like this is all in the past, but I thought I'd give all you A3A3 fanatics out there an inside look at just what happened in the aftermath of this Annandale, Virginia house tour video in which I called out my landlord for her shitty behavior. Let's see. First of all, I should mention, my landlord tried calling me a bunch that night. So she saw the video. Another thing about the video, you're wondering, well, how'd she find out about it? Why'd she get so mad? In addition to the video about Annandale, Virginia going viral, the related videos were other videos I shot about Annandale, including about my house. And in the video about my house, I included my full address in there. I was so fed up by that point with the conditions there. I'd lived there for about, a little over 2 years by that point. I decided I would air all my grievances on video. So let's walk through what happened. This is exciting, looking through my old screen captures. Oh boy. So it appears that in May of 2016, my landlord started calling me about this. Now she was calling and calling, and I knew she had nothing to talk to me about, so I didn't pick up the phone. I figured she was probably angry too, because in general, I didn't find her to be a very amicable person. I didn't find her to be mean necessarily, but I knew she wanted her way. And I knew that because I had complained numerous times about things that didn't work over the years, that either didn't get fixed or ignored. With that in mind, let's walk through this day. My landlord was calling me. I ignored the calls. Now the funny thing about when someone ignores your call is there's no point in trying to keep calling them. When you keep calling and keep calling, that's almost like a poisonous reaction to yourself, like saying, I don't care about an actual dialogue. I want to be able to control them because not only I don't respect them, I ultimately don't respect myself. It's poisonous back to the person who does the excessive calling because it's an indignity to any person to put another person through an indignity. So I knew there was no point in answering the phone. I mean, obviously, my A3A3 nation out there understands that. And plus, anything I said, she could have taken out of context or misquoted me and said that I said something inappropriate. So I wasn't going to do that. Then something interesting happened. She called my roommate, who lived in the next room over. So he knocks on my door and says, the landlord's calling you. She says to pick up, whatever. I didn't do it. I said, whatever. I didn't care. I ignored him. He came by again and said, she said to pick up the phone or she's going to evict you. The landlord's going to evict me because she was angry that I put up a video about how screwed up her treatment of that. Well, I won't even go that far yet. He said she was going to evict me if I didn't pick up the phone. So that's a little spattering, a sprinkling of hate on top of the already disregard for the living conditions in the house. She called and called, I wouldn't pick up. So she started texting me. And guys, this is where it gets really juicy. This is where like my beanie just went, huh? It literally flopped over to the other side of my head. So she starts sending me frantic texts about what's wrong with the house, unsolicited text. And here's the funny thing about solicitation. There are houses that say in front of the house, no solicitors, but you don't have that on a phone. Why? It's called a smartphone. Look at this, people. It's a smartphone. So you got to talk to me with respect on it. You don't talk down to me when I'm on a smartphone. And I appeal to the sense of fairness in my audience to make their own conclusions. So my landlord, she says, no one forced you to live there. Now, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like the message of somebody who has pride in the home they're running, right? No one forced you to live there. That's like someone who says, I don't value that house. I don't value myself. I consider it an unworthy investment to try and make my tenants happy with the money they're paying me to live at this house. Plus, we had no idea of the electrical issues, and Jackson told my mom he was fixing the door. I'm sure they will love to see this video. I didn't get any problems from anyone else because of the video. I think my landlord was doing something called projection, and I don't mean like in a movie theater. I mean like when you are kind of a solipsist and you project your emotions and your worldview onto other people and assume they're going to be have this wannabe gangsta attitude, like Lil, well, I won't say more. Okay, so she says, be a real man and answer the phone instead of posting items. You want attention, there you go. That doesn't make any sense. Be a real man and answer the phone. That's not being a real man, that's being stupid. Because why would I talk to her at that point? She was furious at me. Do I look like a stupid person? I'm not going to talk to someone who just wants to yell at me and who refused to fix things in the house for 2.5 years and didn't even seem to think it was a valuable investment and didn't have any pride in the house. She's foolish enough to make admissions in text messages that she didn't fix things because she didn't know about them. I have a little admission of advice, unsolicited advice, since we're talking unsolicited messages here for landlords out there. You're supposed to know this stuff. You should want to know this stuff. You need to know. And then when you lash out and angrily say, well, like, it's not my fault, and my roommate was supposed to fix the door that was super glued on the front of the house because I super glued it there, and I told my landlord, and apparently she never followed up to find out if my roommate fixed it. You're supposed to know that stuff. Aren't you an adult? Who else is supposed to know? Are you not supposed to know? Are you not in charge of what you know and what you don't know? Anyways, that's the kind of funny thing about people who move to Annandale is you get out kind of soon when you realize that's how things run. That's just kind of, you know, when you see a movie about a small town sheriff and it's like somebody says, hey, wait a minute, you know, that guy broke into my car and now you're letting him away. And the sheriff's just like, oh, that's just how we do things around here, boy. Be a real man and answer the phone. Instead of posting items, you want attention and there you go. I wanted her attention for a couple of years because I was paying money. Landlords are supposed to fix items in the house and make sure tenants who live there actually are responsible, and also not have subletters when apparently you're not supposed to have subletters in Annandale. Apparently the code in the city of Fairfax, which Annandale is a part of, is that you can only have 4 people living in a residential house, 4 unrelated people living in a residential house. We had 5 people living there for 2.5 years. Now, did I do this? Did I inflict this on someone? Can you even see me? I can't see you, so therefore, if I'm taking a cue from my old landlord, I guess you can't see me. Now, I think when you do this to someone, they're giving it to you. They give you everything you need to put it out there. I mean, now think about this. If you have a house that you rent out to people and it's a valuable investment, are you going to be ashamed of people finding out how you treat that investment? You're going to be proud of people seeing how you treat it. I think she got ashamed that her face got rubbed in her boo-boos. Next series of messages. Either answer my phone or I'll be en route with my husband. Talk about what? What you did was illegal and truly shameful. In the lease it states that if items are broken by tenants, they are responsible for repairs. I am en route. I said, do not talk to me, I'm leaving the house. I wasn't leaving the house, but she wanted to come over with her husband to come confront me and said I wasn't being a man. No, I was being smart. Why would anybody, show of hands, hey, everybody, let's get a hand in there if you think it would have been smart for me to talk to my landlord at that point, somebody who just wanted me to bully me with her husband at 11 o'clock at night. Let's see a show of those hands. Okay, I'm probably imagining there's a few yeses, few nos out there. If you think it was smart to talk to my landlord in person or on the phone at that point, tip your beanie, camera left. Wait a minute, am I camera left? Yes. Tip your beanie, tip your beanie, camera right, so that's your left, if you think it would have been smart to talk to my landlord. Now, tip your beanie, camera left, if you thought it would have been done. Now, I'll throw in a third option there. This is really crazy. Raise your beanie up to the sky if you think it would have been dumb of my landlord to come talk to me while I had cameras ready to film. So she's not thinking, and I don't trust somebody who's not thinking. I don't trust somebody who's willing to hurt themselves, essentially, to try and hurt me. Doesn't make too much sense. Talk to me, or I'm going to come to your house at 11 o'clock at night, and that's when these were sent to me. So you judge for yourself. Do you think it was a wise idea for me to talk to her? Or do you think she was just trying to bully me? You are a coward. Post that. You talk crap now but can't take the heat. Somebody who doesn't fix the house for 2 years and lets my roommates treat the house poorly and not clean up, and then doesn't like when people know about it, are they not cowards? Remember, throughout this whole video, I want, as an exercise, tip your beanie which way you think it should go. Don't look at my beanie for a guide. Tip your beanie based on whether you think I should have talked to my landlord and sat down with her. Do you think that would have been a conversation, or you think that would have been a berating by someone who was probably on the verge of crying because she was so angry that the world knew how selfish she was? Good, leave now, permanently. So again, keep your beanies on a swivel, because you may go back and forth. I'm sure after everyone sees your video, it would make things very pleasant for you there. Well, she didn't care if things were pleasant. Oh man. I don't think she wanted people knowing how shittily she treats people there. And kind of surprising, you know, it's one thing when a landlord doesn't want to fix things and doesn't know electrical problems are in the house and ignores me when I have complaints. That's one thing, but you know, you'd think a person like that would be pretty lighthearted and just, you know, in a jovial mood and laid back and like, well, okay, I screwed up, but Angelo posted a video. Yep. You know, a little wink and a nod. You know, what are you going to do? I tip my beanie to you, sir. But no, it's like 2 for 2. The two for Tuesdays, like they do on the radio. How could you imagine? Like, what are the odds? Do you think I called it wrong? That's another one. Just leave. The funny thing is, if a landlord had a really good attitude, they would be magnanimous and be like, wow, I graciously accept being correct. I'm not going to be angry and vindictive. But again, what are the odds? You would think one of the two. A selfish person is really nice, but you wouldn't think a selfish person's vindictive. I'm stunned. Just leave. If we are unaware of issues that you tenants do that we can't fix, we don't have to provide a washer and dryer or a dishwasher. It is not part of the rent you pay. So, hey, yeah, if there's a washer there and it breaks, oh fucking well. And by the way, if I report that people are, like, subletters are abusing the washing machine and then it breaks because of that, and therefore maybe the subletters aren't being responsible and we should be more careful about letting subletters in the house, which it turns out we weren't allowed to have them anyways. Oh well, the landlord isn't responsible for that. That's a new pairing of words that I found out. The landlord isn't. So my landlord was very concerned about procedure, responsibility, when it meant she didn't have to pay for anything, which I don't get. If you have pride in the house, the money's nothing compared to your integrity. But integrity's very, like, runs cheap in my landlord's household with luxury cars in the driveway. At least the last time I went there. Yeah, the 2 luxury cars she had in her driveway. But how come she was able to have subletters there? Fairfax Code. People sent... By the way, here's the funny thing about that video. My neighbors started sending me messages of support saying they didn't know I lived like that, and started telling me that we weren't allowed to have subletters in the house because that was a code in the city. 4 unrelated persons in a house. Ain't that something? It's like it's okay if money's going out to my landlord, but it wasn't okay if she actually had to be responsible and have integrity. Oh, that's funny. We never knew the bulb was broken in the fridge. We are not your parents. Take responsibility. You rented a room, not a house. Well, there you go. If you want to know what it should say on Craigslist posts for that house in Annandale, again, link in the description below to it. It's, we are not your parents. You rented a room, not a house, and nobody forced you to live there. A good slogan to have for the house. Don't forget to tip your beanies which way you want this to go. You know, I want a fair and balanced assessment. Again, keep those beanies tipped camera left or your right if what the hell am I thinking? I can't even get my directions right. I'm so confused and overwhelmed. These text messages are just making the blood fall out of my brain and into my liver. And like, pick the degree of angle off the equator. Like how many, you know, like they say like, you know, 8 minutes from the equator, and they're measuring off the horizon, like off the bow of a ship. Tip it depending on how smart or not. And I want you to all send in your beanie pics. You know, what variants you think I should have spoken to my landlord. Real quick, I want to have a little digression here. We never knew the bulb was broken in the fridge. I never said the broken bulb in the fridge was her fault. I said it was my roommate's fault. Why is she angry about that? She wasn't thinking about that. Again, she's thinking about what she's responsible for, but she got so angry. It's like she thought I was saying it was her fault for that. And you rented a room, not a house. So again, just emblazon that over the, put a picture, like a graphic in the Craigslist post for the house, please. If my landlord's watching that, you rented a room, not a house. If you're an honest person, you're not going to be ashamed of people knowing how you do things. I have no shame about people seeing what I put on video. Why would I be ashamed of that? And because here's the other thing about integrity. If I make a mistake, I figure I'm willing to hear about it. To the extent I'm willing to make a mistake, I'm willing to hear about it. I'm not afraid of being wrong. And I deserve to be known as being wrong for something. That's not an attack on me. Now, if my landlord was smart, she would have thought, okay, this isn't an attack on me. I gotta cop to what I'm doing. And I could have made an amazing video with her saying, okay, I'm gonna fix things here, Angelo. I see what you did. It's like, it was funny, the video. I'm gonna fix things. That would have been an amazing advertisement for the house. She wasn't just shooting herself in the foot. It's like she shot both feet because she was so angry. It was like, you know, in an RPG, I used to play the Final Fantasy games and Chrono Trigger, where like you would get poisoned, the character, when you're taking turns fighting. So you knew you can wait out a turn and not get the poison hitting you, or it wasn't just a poison, it was more like a reflection of your attack. So you can choose to attack the enemy, some monster, but if you attack them, some of the attack would come back on you and hit you. So you had to choose, you know, do I want this damage back to me? Am I going to be hurting myself too much? So in all her bluster and anger, she failed to think, oh, if I hit Angelo, the harder I attack him, it's like the harder I'm counterattacked. If she wanted, she could have had an amazing video of the house being fixed up and people being told you got to be responsible, but no. Instead, what I got was, we don't have to provide a washer and dryer or dishwasher. It is not part of the rent you pay. Well, I wish she would have let me know that up front. That would have been nice. You'd think an honest person would do that. Somebody who takes pride in their reputation. Apparently, she doesn't want anyone to know her reputation. Oh, man. Try and pick out what's sarcastic, ironic laughter and what's genuine laughter at what I'm doing right now. Again, have those beanies on a swivel. Now, here's the real haymaker of a punch. Now, this really, I don't know, tell me if it has anything to do with the house. And I quote, "I asked you to leave a long time ago." Side note, unquote. That never happened. She never asked me to leave. "Jackson told me you were a problem all the time and I felt sorry for you." I told Jackson about that. Maybe he said something to complain about me, but after that, we were still good friends. He told me he didn't have any problem with me. Now, granted, he would get angry and complain about stuff, so in anger he might have, but he still liked talking to me. We still hung out after that. He came to my house right here and we ate hamburgers after I moved out. I would give him a ride to work at 2 in the morning for a few weeks. He had a problem with me. I loaned him money when his grandmother died so he could help pay for her funeral. He even offered to find me a good tenant that wouldn't cause so many problems and that didn't have issues like you. Quote, issues. What, like mental issues or something? I don't know. Because I wouldn't be ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed of that. And ironic, for all the issues she talks about me, she hates having her issues aired out on YouTube. "I should have taken him up on the offer and gotten rid of you a long time ago. Now I know why your parents don't want you and your brother attacked you. I guess because you're such a nice person. The sooner you leave, the better." That was at 12:21 in the morning. Can you fucking believe that? How angry she must have been? And it sounds, the way it sounds, you know, you can read tonality sort of like Jordan Belford, the Wolf of Wall Street, great salesperson. Even better sales trainer than he is a salesperson. That's by his own admission. And by the way, people, beanies, don't forget them. Come on. God forbid. I hope you're not watching without a beanie. I never intended for anyone to see this video without a beanie on. This is like an augmented reality video where your audience participation is crucial. If you're not watching with a beanie, you're not really getting the experience of this video, and I feel like some of the context is missing, and I really can't be held accountable for, like, if your enjoyment is diminished as a result of that. If you're feeling left out, you're like, well, you're not swiveling your beanie. It's not my fault if you don't have a beanie on. Now, what Jordan Belfort said is, even over the phone, people can see you. They form a picture of you based on your tonality and your language patterns. I'm getting a clear picture here. I don't know, I won't say for myself how good a judge of character I am. I will say that by putting up the video about the house, it seems to really have brought out some bad behavior in my landlord. But the fact that she was so angry and wanted to pit me against my roommate, sarcastically say I'm a good person. And by the way, what's with the gangsta little wannabe gangsta attitude of attacking me personally, and then saying no wonder my parents didn't want me at the house? Like I'm gonna be hurt by her saying my parents didn't want me at the house? Couple things here. Why would my landlord think I'd be upset over not having my parents' approval? Has she seen my videos? Do I ever worry about my parents' approval? What does it mean to have my parents' approval? I put that video of the fight, my brother attacking me. By the way, when I was taking care of my elderly dad, my brother got mad that the vegetable juicer was out during all this. He threw it in the backyard. I confronted him. He punched me and strangled me. And he was actually charged with felony strangulation for that, which they dropped in exchange for a no contest plea to assault and battery. Why would I be ashamed of that? What's with her little gangsta attitude that thinks somehow that's subservient to someone and therefore it's shameful, or there's something funny about that? Why would I be embarrassed about that? I won that. Not only did I win the court case and my brother got convicted, but I ended up maintaining my integrity. I worked 2 jobs, about 7 days a week for 6 months afterwards to afford living in Annandale. So for all the problems I had, I knew I could have not called the police and stayed in the house, but I didn't have my integrity if I did that, because I would have let my brother know he can attack me whenever he's angry and I have to be careful around him. Why would I do that? And then for my landlord to act like somehow I'm a loser or something for getting kicked out of my parents after that, why is that a problem for me? I shamed my parents about that. Shame on them. They did something wrong. Now see, this is where the fundamental difference in our values comes into play. Because for a little wannabe gangsta princess who is my landlord, superiority, chauvinism, control of people is a value, and that's respect. Things like integrity, honesty, being forthright, those aren't values that she holds close to herself. So therefore, she thinks that because I didn't have those values that she desires, like dominating others, being controlling, being thuggish and bullying, and being willing to be dishonest, like my brother when he was trying to say to the court and lawyers that I was a threat to him when he attacked me, why would I be ashamed of that? That was all character building, and I'm proud of it. Not only that, I don't live at home with my parents now. I'm living on my own. I'm proud to do that while not having to be subservient to someone who's going to try and attack me or pay money to this lovely woman who sent me these messages. But I won because I got to maintain my integrity and also help build a career for my mom online. She's met all these great entertainers and comedians and artists because of our work together. She's gotten to go out and see a different world and see movies she never heard of before, and movies that she loves, like Scorsese's films, silent films like From Harold Lloyd, Sunrise at the AFI Silver Screen. Why would I be ashamed by any of that? Hello, old landlord? Hello there, knock knock. Anyone home? Elevator go to the top floor? And also, it seems like she's really angry and feeling sorry for herself by that point, because she's starting to sound like my brother, who was saying when he attacked me, and by the way, you can see the video of him attacking me, link in the description below, saying that my whole family has a lawyer against me and nobody likes me, nobody wants me there. It's like he thought that my ultimate values too were being liked or something. And by the way, none of that was true. There was no lawyer against me. The sooner you leave, the better. So it's like my landlord has some affinity for my brother, feels some kinship with someone who wants to beat me up. So you decide again, keep those beanie, let's go to a new beanie chart here. Actually, I wish we could see like the evolution of beanies, like, the evolution of man. Trust me, all of the tenants will be watching your lovely videos of them. I hope they are amused as I am. Yeah, none of my roommates seem to care or bothered me about it. Yeah, she got pretty upset by that. And again, she seems like when she was sending that last message about how angry she was about my behavior. Let's take a look at that again, by the way. That was really a doozy. That was hard to whistle. I should have taken them up on the offer and gotten rid of you a long time ago. Now I know why your parents don't want you and your brother attacked you. I guess because you're such a great person. It seemed like she was angry at herself and felt sorry for herself at that point. She's literally like reliving times in this text messages where she says she should have kicked me out a long time ago. Now think about that. She wanted to kick me out a long time ago. Again, she never told me to leave. She said she asked me to leave a long time ago. She never asked me to leave. Now, why would she have wanted me to leave? I was paying my rent. I cleaned very well. What was the problem with me? Oh, that I was actually complaining about people who were stealing stuff out of the kitchen or subletters who were breaking stuff. I didn't even bring up stuff like subletters bringing in babies and their girlfriends and having dirty diapers around the house and women's underwear on the floor. I didn't even bring any of that up, or the fact that it was illegal to have a subletter in the house, because I didn't know about that. I guess she was hoping to get that one slide through, Tom Cruise, risky business. When no one's in the house, he just slid around in his underwear. She thought the risky business would get by me, and it did for a long time, until people saw the video and notified me that that was illegal. And not just illegal because, the letter of the law itself, I've had my thoughts on that. But it was a shitty situation that she engaged in to get money. It's my opinion. She seems like she's angry at herself, and at this point just like crying to herself in anger about how she wishes she got rid of me a long time ago just for speaking up about bad conditions in the house. So I think if I had to summarize my opinion on living at that fateful house in Annandale, I think my landlord valued someone who would pay rent and not complain about anything. So thanks for watching. Appreciate all you A3A3 nationers out there. Let me know what you think, and again, engage each other in the comments. I want to hear you all say to each other and discuss with each other the best beanie signal system out there. So now you know, by the way, why I was saying, can I have a couch to sleep on? Because I honestly didn't know if my landlord was just going to come by the house at random times and harass me, because she seemed so furious that I exposed her shitty behavior to everyone. Now again, a good landlord will just think, oh, you got me, I understand, and you know what, not only I'm going to fix it, but you can make a video of it, and how great would that be? That would have been an amazing opportunity. But see, she doesn't value herself, and she doesn't value the house, so she thinks there's no worthy investment to be made there in making, reconciling and saying, okay, I'm going to fix things. Things are going to run well there, Angelo. I want you to be proud of how I run things. No, she seems to respect herself so little. That's why I'm saying I'm not ashamed of anything she said to me. I'm not ashamed of anything she said about me, about my parents or whatever. Why would I be worried about them? Screw my parents if they behave badly. Shame on them for kicking me out. I don't worry about that. I was willing to do what I needed to live on my own. Even though it was sudden, and even though I had just been sick for 9 months, which my landlord didn't mention, but yeah, I was sick for 9 months before that. Kind of shitty to make fun of a person for having to leave the house after they were so horribly sick for so long. I was in a mental hospital. I was in excruciating pain, pacing my house 23 hours a day before that. I don't need anyone's approval. I have my integrity. So, think about that. What kind of landlord do you all want out there, A3A3 Nation? Would you want a landlord who's going to value you and value the house and think it's great? Or do you want a landlord who's going to be angry when you bring up problems in the house and say, hey, the subletter probably broke the washing machine. What's going to happen, and she didn't want to do anything about it. Now, I think one time, in fairness, what I heard was she had her husband fix it. I don't know exactly the situation, but after that, basically, I didn't hear anything from her. So she didn't acknowledge that it was a problem with the subletters, and we shouldn't all have to pay for that. And not only that, the subletters aren't ultimately responsible for anything. They don't pay a deposit. They're not on the lease. So the guy in the basement they were subletting from was going to have to be responsible, but she didn't make him responsible. So in other words, no one's responsible. Enjoy living in that shithole fucking piss a waste of a place in Annandale, Virginia. Should you decide to live there and be unfortunate enough to end up in circumstances that let you arrive there. So here's the ultimate insult to encapsulate this whole situation. I got very sick for 9 months, wasn't able to work, staying with my parents. I ended up recovering, getting several jobs, working in videos again. We just shot Tim's Cook-Off the week my brother attacked me, several days before he attacked me. So already I was having great opportunities with my film career. I was working with an entertainment agency that was going real well for me. I was going on tour with them, shooting fashion shows for them. And I ended up having to get 2 jobs to be able to live in Annandale and afford that, my car payment, my other bills for about 6 months, working about 7 days a week and traveling with the entertainment agency. And all that misfortune ended up and struggle led me to this place where, on top of not being treated well by my brother and my parents and having to work 2 jobs and struggling to get my film career going again and struggling with my health, issues as well. Not that I was like, it was physical so much, but I was in a lot of pain. I wasn't able to sleep well, and I was still recovering from those months of mental illness, nearly a year. That was very painful, and I lost a lot of time to that. I ended up in a place where the landlord didn't even respect me and didn't believe I deserved dignity there. That's the ultimate insult, but it's not to me, it's to her. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.